Hello, and I'm that girl with the glasses, and my lighting is very bad. You know, I've taken notice on such websites as That Guy with the Glasses, whose female counterpart translates a variety of media for the female audience, that there's one gross discrepancy in all of those reviews. None of the things that have been reviewed are books. Now, I recognize that it's kind of hard to do a review for a book in a video format. It can get a little boring unless you have a lot of illustrations to show, and with novels, there's really not any to be spoken of. However, I still feel it would have merit, and I'm going to attempt to do just that. Because what could be more nostalgic than recalling the novels that you read as a preteen or teenager or even an elementary school student? Let's try naming some of them. R.L. Stine, Mercedes Lackey, the Babysitter's Club books, who I never read, Nancy Drew, Animorphs, Any Variety, Anne Rice. I'm sure at least one of these you have read. So I'm going, again, to attempt to do this, to fill a gap that has been so horribly overlooked. Now, the book I'll be reviewing today isn't exactly nostalgic. In fact, I read it in my 20s, which I hope you can tell I'm still in. It's called Okay, admittedly, this is a really bad sign. You can't even pronounce the title without looking it up on Wikipedia, which I did, and I think it's Wraeththu. Now, this book, oh boy, this book has been reviewed by scores of people, mostly panning it. However, it has a thriving culture that just adores the thing. The author, Storm Constantine, is goth, and her book is goth, and the goths love it. Now, a recovering high school goth myself, I thought I would really get into this. It got recommended to me when I went to Barnes & Noble and told the girl what I liked, which was gay, sex, fantasy. There's lots we could go with that. Now, let's start with the concept. Wraeththu is about hermaphrodites. Now, bear with me, people. I know that some of you who have read the books are going to get all in a tizzy, but it's about hermaphrodites. It's about a post-apocalyptic world where humans are now the subservient species and the less dominant species, and Wraeththu are the flower-penised offspring of a freak mutant who bites people in order to incept them into his race. A la Lestat from Anne Rice's Vampire Chronicles, because there he's giving them the gift of not being human, or so I interpret. There's 3 books to this thing. There is The Enchantments of Flesh and Spirit, The Bewitchments of Love and Hate, and The Fulfillments of Fate and Desire. Say that type thing 3 times fast. How would you even really be able to remember which book is which? I just read the greatest book. It's called Wraeththu. Now wait, do you mean the big thick thing, or do you mean you actually bought one of the 3 books that are intensely hard to find? So I digress. It's a little bit confusing. I think that she probably could have named it something a little shorter and a little easier to remember. So let's get into the characters. One thing that I'm going to make perfectly clear from the get-go is, oh my god, androgyny. Everyone is pretty, and if you're not pretty, you're not powerful. End of story. Androgyny rules. Basically, in the first book, you get a whiny protagonist who is pretty much a coming-of-age story. Oh noes, he wants something, he gets it, gets irritated and sad because, oh noes, he's being tossed into a world that he's not familiar with, and oh, he feels so misguided, and no one understands. And then you get a dick character who actually brought him into the world that's completely unrelatable to. I mean, the guy's just a jerk. He's cold, he's distant, he reminds me of my father. They're just not likable characters. The first character, who is the coming-of-age character's name is Palaz, which sounds like pizzazz or something else that belongs in a Siegfried and Roy special. And then you get Cal, whose full name I can't pronounce. By the way, all of the characters' names in this are themed after flowers or some other plant. It's just wank, 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 wank. After that, you know, he gets incepted into the Wraeththu, which really, it's too complicated to explain. Basically, they fill his body with the blood of them, vampires much, and then he becomes Wraeththu by his organs mutating, and his genitals turn into sea anemones. Yeah. Basically, Wraeththu have a phallus that is a sea anemone. And the way that they procreate, which is revealed later in the second book, is that you can insert phallus into opening of other phallus, which is also a sea anemone, and make babies. Which you actually do by forcing them out of the, I'm guessing, anus in the form of a big treasure rock. Treasure rock, have a sparkling treasure time. You remember those things? It's a big egg rock that the new Wraeththu child is born out of. Okay, let's just take a step back from the empreg and the flower phallus and just give this a chance. Now, going back to the first book, so they incept Palaz and Cal meets the big bad antagonist, who is the leader of the Wraeththu. Now, I won't say his name because it will give it away, and blah, blah, blah. But really, I saw the ending to all three of the books coming. Big bad protagonist who, as soon as he walks into the room, everyone goes, it's him? And the narrator himself, who is Palaz, because it's told from the first person, talks about how it was really telling that he was his inceptor. Because, by the way, no, he's never incepted anyone before, which means he's never put his blood into anyone before, but he's the most powerful Wraeththu. Wow, I can't imagine that Palaz would be any kind of significant character in the development of Wraeththu. Oh god, this book is so easy to tell what's going to happen. So anyway, they go on a magical adventure, which tours around, and it basically just continues onward, where Palaz learns magic by fucking people. Now this is where I stopped reading the book. I mean, for real. It started to just divulge into a series of fanfics where everybody has flower butt sex, and, you know, as much as I like that kind of thing, and it really gets my rocks off, I didn't want to read an entire set of novels, and look at the thickness of this thing, where it was just, go to village, have sex with other Wraeththu in order to gain a level, like, and then suddenly you have more abilities than before, and you move on to the next town. And by the way, there's a bunch of different tribes of Wraeththu who resemble Egyptians, Native American Indians, Greeks, my family reunion, Smurfs. You travel around and have sex with each of these, and eventually you're supposed to be like the ultimate Wraeththu. Now, that gets kind of boring. I put the book down for 6 months and then decided I spent like nearly $20 on the thing, so I better finish it, so I dragged myself through it. Eventually, just Palaz and Cal end up in a town where Palaz gets shot in the head. That's right. The main character to all three books gets shot in the head. Now, spoilers, I'm sorry, but the main character gets shot in the head, but it means absolutely nothing because a la Deus Ex Machina, he's brought back to life by the very Wraeththu that incepted him. So let's recap. In the very first book, we have coming-of-age story, who's a whiny little ponce. Guy who incepts him, oh, sorry, not incepts him, just fucks him in the ass. Oh god, I forgot the most important part. In order to be fully incepted, you have to have butt sex. Yep. You have to stick your flower phallus into the other flower phallus or have someone stick it into yours. Actually, you have to have it stuck into yours in order to be finished as a Wraeththu because their magical semen will finish the job. I am not making this up. This is part of the novel. And this is only the first novel. I'm gonna stop there. because there's so much to do. And the second novel, oh boy, that's going to take a video all of itself.